In the heart of a small American town, where high school dances are the stuff of legends, one shy new girl named Mia steps onto the dance floor in a dress she poured her heart into making.
Ow.
But when the meanest bullies in school tear it to shreds, in front of everyone, what happens next will leave you speechless. A whirlwind of courage, revenge, and a jaw-dropping twist that sends her tormentors straight to the hospital.
Have to buckle up, America. This is a story you won't forget. If you love
Underdog stories that pack a punch, hit that subscribe button and join the ride. Mia Harper was never one to stand out. At 16, she was a quiet transplant to Willow Creek, a sleepy Ohio town where everyone knew everyone and newcomers were sized up like cattle at auction. Her family had moved from Chicago after her dad lost his job, chasing a cheaper life. In a place where the air smelled of cornfields and gossip traveled faster than the internet, Mia, with her mousy brown hair and thrift store wardrobe, wanted nothing more than to blend in at Willow Creek High. But blending in was impossible when you were the new girl in a school where cliques ruled like feudal lords. Her first week was a gauntlet of whispers and stares. The cafeteria was a battlefield, with tables divided by social rank. Jocks, cheerleaders, band kids, and at the top, the self-proclaimed queens of the school, Lauren and Kaylee, a trio of senior girls who wielded their popularity like a guillotine. Mia kept her head down, sketching dresses in her notebook during lunch, dreaming of a day she could design clothes that made people feel invincible. She had a knack for it, stitching together outfits from Goodwill finds, turning rags into something magical. Her mom called it her superpower, but Mia just called it surviving. The school dance was the talk of Willow Creek, a spring tradition that turned the gym into a glittering fantasy for one night. Mia had never been to a dance, but she overheard the queens plotting their grand entrance, their dresses ordered from some boutique in Columbus that charged more for a gown than Mia's family spent on groceries in a month. She didn't plan to go. Dances weren't her thing, but her art teacher, Mrs. Callahan, changed her mind. Mrs. Callahan was the kind of teacher who saw potential in kids like Mia, the ones who hid behind their bangs. She slipped Mia a flyer for the dance and said, "You should go. Show them who you are." Mia wasn't sure who that was, but the idea of making a dress, her dress, sparked something inside her. For weeks, Mia worked in secret, holed up in her attic bedroom. She scavenged fabric from thrift stores, piecing together a gown from scraps of emerald satin, tulle, and an old lace tablecloth her grandma had given her. She sewed by hand, her fingers pricked raw, stitching dreams into every seam. The dress was a masterpiece, a fitted bodice that flared into a spinning skirt, the kind that twirled like a galaxy when you spun. Mia imagined herself walking into the gym, heads turning, not because she was the new girl, but because she was someone. She didn't tell anyone, not even her mom, who was too busy working double shifts at the diner to notice Mia's late night sewing marathons. The night of the dance arrived, and Mia stood in front of her cracked bedroom mirror, the dress hugging her like a second skin. She felt like a character from one of her sketches, bold and untouchable. Her mom was already at work, so Mia took a deep breath, grabbed her thrift store clutch, and walked the half-mile to school under a sky blazing with stars. The gym was a kaleidoscope of fairy lights and thumping music, kids laughing and swaying. In their best outfits, Mia hesitated at the entrance, her heart pounding. She wasn't one of them, but tonight she could pretend. Asterisk. She stepped inside, and for a moment it was perfect. Heads turned, a few girls whispered compliments, even Jake, the quiet boy from her art class who drew manga in the back row, gave her a shy nod. Mia felt her shoulders relax, a smile creeping onto her face. Maybe Willow Creek wasn't so bad. Maybe she could belong. But then she saw them, Mashley, Lauren, and Kaylee, draped in their designer dresses, their eyes locking onto her like hawks. Spotting prey, Ashley, the ringleader, sauntered over, her heels clicking like a countdown. "Nice dress," she said, her voice dripping with syrupy venom. "Did you make it from your mom's curtains?" The crowd around them tittered, and Mia's cheeks burned. She tried to shrink away, but Lauren and Kaylee flanked her, their smiles sharp as knives. "Let's see how it holds up," Kaylee said. And before Mia could react, Ashley grabbed the hem of her dress and yanked. As the sound of ripping fabric, echoed like a gunshot. The lace tore, the satin split, and Mia's dream unraveled in front of 100 staring eyes. Laughter erupted, phones flashed, and Mia stood frozen, clutching the tatters of her dress as tears stung her eyes. She wanted to run, to vanish, but something inside her snapped. She'd spent weeks on that dress, pouring every ounce of herself. Into it, she wasn't going to let them win. Mia straightened, her hands trembling, and said, "You think you're so perfect. Let's see how you spin." The words came out before she could stop them, and the crowd hushed, sensing a shift. Ashley smirked, stepping closer. "What, you gonna fight us in your trash dress?" But Mia wasn't planning to fight. She was going to dance. The DJ, sensing drama, switched the track to a pulsing beat, something fast and wild. Onto the dance floor, the torn dress trailing behind her like a battle flag. She started to move, slow at first, then faster, her skirt flaring despite the rips. She'd taken dance classes back in Chicago, nothing fancy, but enough to know how to command a space. She spun, her movements sharp and deliberate, the tattered fabric catching the light like broken glass. The crowd parted, mesmerized. Mia wasn't. Just dancing, she was defiance in motion. Every twirl a middle finger to the queens. Ashley, Lauren, and Kaylee weren't about to be outdone. They pushed onto the dance floor, mimicking Mia's spins, their designer dresses swishing. But they were sloppy, their heels wobbling, their movements more mockery than skill. The crowd's attention stayed on Mia, her spins growing faster, her torn dress transforming into something ethereal, like a phoenix rising from ashes. The queens, desperate to reclaim the spotlight, pushed harder, spinning wildly, their egos outweighing their balance. Then it happened. Ashley, trying to outdo Mia's pirouette, stumbled into Lauren, who crashed into Kaylee.
Ay!
Their heels tangled. And in a blur of sequins and screams, the three of them spun out of control, slamming into a table stacked with punch bowls. The table collapsed, glass shattered, and the queens hit the floor in a heap, drenched in sticky red punch. The crowd gasped, then fell silent as Ashley clutched her ankle. Lauren groaned, holding her wrist. And Kaylee lay still, her eyes fluttering. The DJ cut the music. Someone yelled for a teacher. Mia stopped spinning, her chest heaving, the torn dress clinging to her sweat-soaked skin. She hadn't meant for this, had she? The gym was chaos now, teachers rushing in, kids filming on their phones, loading the queens onto stretchers. Ashley was sobbing, Lauren was swearing, and Kaylee, it turned out, had a concussion from hitting her head on the table's edge. They were carted off to Willow Creek General, leaving Mia standing alone in the wreckage of the dance floor. Whispers swirled. Some kids called her a hero, others a freak. Jake from art class approached, his eyes wide. "That was insane," he said, not unkindly. "You okay?" Mia nodded, though she wasn't sure. She'd wanted to stand up for herself. But hospital trips weren't part of the plan. Mrs. Callahan appeared, wrapping a jacket around Mia's shoulders. "You showed them something tonight," she said. "Not just how to dance, but how to fight back." By Monday, the school was a powder keg. The queen's parents were furious, threatening lawsuits, claiming Mia had somehow orchestrated the disaster. Videos of the dance went viral on X, with hashtags like #SpinQueen and #WillowCreekTakedown, racking up millions of views. Mia's torn dress was a meme, her spins a TikTok trend. But the attention came with a cost. The principal called her into his office, flanked by Ashley's mom, a lawyer with a glare that could melt steel. "Mia," the principal said, "we need to know exactly what happened." Mia told the truth. She danced to stand up for herself, nothing more. But the queens' story was different. They claimed Mia had taunted them, dared them to spin knowing they'd fall. It was her word against theirs, and in Willow Creek, money talked louder than truth. Mia was suspended for a week, pending an investigation. Her mom, exhausted from her shifts, hugged her and said, "I'm proud of you, but this is a mess." Mia felt like she'd won and lost at the same time. That's when the first twist came. Jake, the manga kid, showed up at her house with a USB drive. "I was filming the dance for my art project," he said. "Caught the whole thing from a different angle." The footage was crystal clear, Ashley grabbing Mia's dress, Queens mocking her, and their reckless spins that led to their fall. No taunting, no setup, just three bullies tripping over their own cruelty. Mia's mom took the video to the school board, and the narrative flipped. The Queen's parents backed off, the suspension was lifted, and Ashley, Lauren, and Kaylee faced detention for bullying. The school even started a zero-tolerance policy, though Mia knew policies didn't change hearts, but the story didn't end there. As Mia's viral fame spread, she started getting messages not just from kids at school, but from strangers across the country. Most were supportive, calling her an inspiration, but some were cruel, accusing her of faking the video, or egging on the Queens for clout. One message stood out, sent anonymously through X. "You're not alone. Check your locker tomorrow." Mia, rattled but curious, went to school early the next day. Tucked inside her locker was a small envelope with a handwritten note. "Keep spinning.
Ow.
You've got more allies than you know." Attached was a pendant shaped like a tiny sewing needle, carved from wood, polished to a shine. Mia's heart raced. Who left this? Was it Jake, Mrs. Callahan, or someone else entirely? The mystery gnawed at her, but the pendant felt like a talisman. A reminder that she wasn't as alone as she thought. She wore it every day, a quiet promise to herself to keep going. Meanwhile, the Queen's absence left a power vacuum at school. A new girl, Tara, a junior with a sharp tongue and a knack for rallying followers, started filling the void. Tara was different, less flashy than Ashley, but smarter, her cruelty more calculated. She approached Mia in the cafeteria one day, all smiles. "You're kind of a legend now," Tara said, her eyes glinting. "We should hang out," Mia, wary but craving connection, agreed to meet Tara after school at the local coffee shop. It felt like a chance to finally fit in. Tara had other plans. She'd been friends with Kaylee before the dance, and while she played nice, she was quietly plotting to restore the Queen's reign. Tara invited Mia to a design session at her house, claiming she loved fashion too. Mia, clutching her sketchbook, arrived hopeful, only to find Tara with a group of girls who'd been on the fringes of the Queen's clique. They pored over Mia's sketches, praising them at first, then subtly mocking her ideas, saying they were cute but basic. Tara suggested Mia post her designs online to get feedback, but when Mia did, the comments were brutal, coordinated, almost like a campaign. Mia's heart sank as she recognized Tara's handiwork. The pendant in her locker wasn't from Tara, she realized, but someone genuinely on her side. Hurt but not broken, Mia decided to dig deeper. She confided in Jake, who'd become a quiet ally. Together they traced the anonymous X account to a surprising source, Emily, a freshman who'd been bullied by the Queens last year. Emily had been at the dance, too shy to approach Mia, but she'd seen everything and left the pendant as a gesture of solidarity. Mia found Emily in the library, her nose buried in a book. "Why didn't you say anything?" Mia asked. Emily shrugged, her voice soft. "I thought you'd think I was weird." Mia hugged her, the pendant warm against her chest. Emily's help, Mia exposed Tara's scheme on X. Posting screenshots of Tara's private messages organizing the online attack, the school erupted. Again, and Tara's new clique crumbled as kids turned on her, tired of the same old power games. Mia's sketches, once mocked, started gaining traction online, with real designers praising her raw talent. The betrayal stung, but it taught Mia to trust her instinct and her true allies. When the fashion blogger in Columbus reached out, it was Emily who encouraged Mia to take the scholarship, promising to cheer her on from Willow Creek. Mia's viral moment caught the eye of a fashion blogger in Columbus who shared her story with a design school in New York. They offered her a summer scholarship to study fashion. Impressed by the dress she'd made and the spirit she'd shown, Mia, who'd never dared dream beyond Willow Creek, was suddenly looking at a future where her sketches could become reality. The Queens, meanwhile, faded into the background, their reign over Willow Creek High dethroned by a girl who'd spun. Her way into legend, Mia went to the next dance, this time in a new dress, bolder and brighter, sewn with the confidence she'd earned. She danced with Jake, who wasn't half bad on the floor, and Emily joined them, her shy smile lighting up the gym. The crowd cheered, not mocked. Willow Creek wasn't home yet, but it was starting to feel like a place where Mia could be herself torn. Dress, spinning heart, and all. Thanks for diving into Mia's story, America. From small-town drama to a dance floor takedown, we hope you loved this tale of courage and comeback. Drop a comment below and let us know where you're watching from New York, Texas, California, or maybe even a little town like Willow Creek. Hit that subscribe button for more stories. That'll keep you on the edge of your seat.